What if everything you've ever been taught about stress is wrong? What if the very thing you're trying to avoid has the power to make you stronger? Welcome back to the mental weight room where we train the brain just like you train your body. I'm your host, Antoinette Datoc, certified mental performance coach. And today we're talking about something every athlete, in fact, every person experiences: stress. Whether you're trying to earn a starting position, preparing for a championship, recovering from an injury, balancing school and sports, or simply trying to live up to your own expectations, stress is unavoidable. The question isn't whether you'll experience stress. The question is whether stress will weaken you or strengthen you. Let's play a quick word association game. When I say the word stress, what comes to mind? Anxiety, overwhelmed, pressure, too much to do, not enough time? Most of us have been conditioned to think that stress is something we should avoid. We talk about reducing stress, eliminating stress, escaping stress. But here's something we're thinking about. Your body doesn't automatically label stress as good or bad. Stress is simply your body's physiological response to a challenge. Your heart beats faster, your breathing changes, your pupils dilate, your brain becomes more alert, blood is redirected to your muscles. Sound familiar? It should. That's exactly what happens before a competition. If your body didn't do those things before you competed, you'd probably perform flat. Stress isn't evidence that something is wrong. Often, it's evidence that something important is about to happen. Here's something that completely changed the way I think about stress. Researchers at the University of California have been studying something called hormesis. It's a fascinating biological principle that shows many living organisms actually become stronger when they're exposed to manageable amounts of stress. Scientists have seen this in organisms as simple as single-celled life forms, as well as in worms, mice, and other animals. When they're exposed to brief, controlled stress, not overwhelming chronic stress, but short periods of challenge, they don't merely survive, they adapt. Their cells become more resilient, and in some studies, they even live longer. Think about that for a second. Life itself seems to be designed not to avoid all stress, but to adapt through it. And, we already know this intuitively. Lift weights and your muscles get stronger. Bones become stronger when they're loaded. The immune system develops because it's exposed to germs. Challenge your heart and lungs and they become more efficient and build endurance. Struggle to learn something difficult and your brain forms stronger and even new neural connections. Nothing grows stronger by avoiding every challenge. Growth happens because something demands adaptation. So maybe the question isn't, how do I eliminate stress? Maybe the better question is, how do I make stress work for me instead of against me? And here's the answer. It's not stress alone that makes us stronger. It's stress followed by recovery. Think about strength training. The workout doesn't build the muscles, recovery does. Recovery is when the body adapts. The same thing happens mentally. A difficult practice, a heartbreaking loss, a tough conversation with your coach, a slump. Those experiences don't automatically make you mentally tougher. They become opportunities for growth when you recover, reflect, learn, and adapt. That's where resilience is built. Psychologists actually distinguish between two different kinds of stress. The first is distress. Distress happens when we believe the demands placed upon us are greater than our ability to handle them. It feels threatening, overwhelming, crushing. But there's another type of stress called eustress. The prefix eu, as in EU, means good. Eustress is positive stress. It's what you feel before the biggest competition of your season, before a college recruiting visit, before the game-winning shot, before asking someone out on a date. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your breathing changes. Sound familiar? Those are almost the exact same physical sensations as distress. So what's different? It's the story you tell yourself. One of my favorite researchers, psychologist Kelly McGonigal, has spent years studying how our beliefs about stress influence our performance. Her research suggests that people who view stress as something helpful rather than harmful often perform better under pressure. Think about two athletes standing side by side before a championship game. One says, "I'm so nervous, I hope I don't mess up." The other one says, "I'm excited, my body is getting ready to compete." Same heartbeat, same adrenaline, same sweaty palms, different interpretation. Guess what? Different performance. The stress isn't necessarily the problem. The story you tell yourself is. There's a reason this podcast is called The Mental Weight Room. Every difficult practice, every mistake, every setback, every coach who expects more from you, every teammate who pushes you, every championship game, those are mental weights. The question isn't, how do I get rid of the weight? The question is, what is the weight strengthening? Is it confidence, patience, discipline, emotional control, leadership? Because every challenge is training something. I think about stress like a blacksmith's forge. Steel doesn't become stronger by avoiding heat. Gold isn't refined without fire. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. Athletes don't become champions because everything went according to plan. Athletes become champions because challenges reveal strengths they didn't know they had. Pressure doesn't always reveal weakness. Sometimes it reveals potential. So how do we actually apply this? Here are 3 things you can practice this week. Number 1, rename the feeling. Instead of saying, I'm stressed, try saying, my body is getting ready, or I'm excited, or this challenge is preparing me for something great. Those words matter because your brain is listening. Number 2, ask better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Pressure often points directly to the next skill you need to develop. Number 3, recover like it's part of training. Remember, growth doesn't happen during stress alone. It happens after stress. Sleep, nutrition, reflection, prayer, breath work. Recovery isn't weakness. Recovery is where adaptation happens. Elite athletes don't just train hard. They recover intentionally. Your mind deserves the same treatment. This week, I want you to pay attention every time you feel stress. Before labeling it as bad, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this stress trying to hurt me, or is it inviting me to grow? Because maybe the greatest athletes aren't the ones who experience the least pressure. Maybe they're the ones who learn to partner with it, who learn to recover from it, who allow it to refine them instead of define them. Thanks for tuning in today. If today's episode changed the way you think about stress, I'd love for you to click like, drop me a comment, share it with a teammate, a coach, or even your parents. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and follow the Mental Weight Room on Instagram and Facebook so you never miss a mental workout. This is Coach Antoinette signing off, and until next time, keep training your brain like you train your body and keep pushing your limits.